Welcome back to another episode of an Investor's Journey podcast. Very glad to have you guys back. On this episode, before we get going on this episode, I wanted to tell you guys about the Black Sheep Open. This is a golf charity event that we do every year, and it's to raise awareness and to raise funds for Homes for Our Troops. Homes for Our Troops is a nonprofit organization that builds adaptive homes for wounded vets. So they build these homes that for vets that are in a wheelchair and they need help getting around the house and everything. And all of the homes that they build, they give them away to these vets. So it's a great cause, great organization. And the event itself is a lot of fun. I mean, we have about 200 people all within the real estate community. So it's great for networking. There's a free dinner banquet that's included. There are drinks, raffle prizes, games throughout the golf course that people get to play as they go around. As far as skill level needed, very, very minimal. If you've done putt-putt or Top Golf, you're more than qualified. Every team has 4 people to the team, and you play the best ball. So it's a scramble format. So even if you suck at everything else except for putting, there's going to be somebody in the team that's going to be decent at something else, right? So it's a great time, a lot of networking, a lot of fun, a lot of drinking, if that's what you like. But all of it for a great cause. So make sure to sign up. Sign-ups are active now. People are already coming in, by a lot of them. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And we have a lot of sponsors too that they give away a lot of cool swag and gifts and stuff like that. So if you're interested and you want to sign up, go to blacksheepopen.com. and check it out. You're not going to regret it. Again, it's a hell of a lot of fun. So come help us out, support us, support the community, and support your troops. It's a great cause. So in this episode, what I wanted to talk about is yesterday we had a lunch with a fellow wholesaler, a friend of ours that he's really good in the area. Love working with this guy. And he brought us a deal that we're currently partnering with him on to flip this property. And we were talking about pretty much scaling from being a wholesaler. Like what's the next level? How do you scale? How do you grow? And his issue is the same that we all have when it comes time to scaling. You can't find the people, right? So I was thinking about it and we had a great talk with him and everything. So I kind of broke it down into 3 main steps that are necessary in order to grow from a wholesaler. And these are steps that I've come to realize throughout the course of our time we started off as wholesalers, and now we are renovating, holding rentals, and building houses, right? So we've scaled that area, and we are looking to continue scaling. So everything is a learning process for us as well. So I'm sharing that with you guys now. So step number 1, the biggest thing that you need as a wholesaler, as an investor, in order to grow, is mindset. Your mindset needs to be about growing a business. Because the reason I say this is that a lot of people get into wholesaling they usually get sold into wholesaling, right? Either by a guru or some wannabe mentor or whatever it may be. And they get sold usually by saying, hey, wholesaling is easy, doesn't require a lot of time, and you can make an easy 5, 10, 15, 20 grand a month. Right? So easy money. To most people, they're like, shit, I have my job. If I can make an extra 5 grand a month, let's be conservative. An extra 5 grand a month to supplement my income, I'm going to be doing great. The thing is that it doesn't work that way. So if you're coming into real estate and into wholesaling, thinking about the money, thinking how easy it is to make the money, you're never going to succeed because it's very, very hard to make money. You understand? It requires a lot of work, which is why it's very hard. It's not that, I always tell people the same thing. In real estate, the tactics and the strategies are not complicated. They're not hard to grasp. What's hard is the amount of work that is required to put in to be able to implement those strategies. And that is where I see a lot of people fail, and it's a mindset thing. You're coming into this with the wrong mindset. You're coming into this with the mindset of just want to make money. I just want to make money. So this stops you in your growth projection because you cannot grow if all you're focused on is just making money. So that takes us to step number 2, which is volume. The only way to grow, the only way to scale is you need volume, because step number 1 is mindset, right? Mindset is also to help you learn. The whole point with wholesaling is for you to learn the market, for you to learn the strategies, for you to learn the main players. Who are your buy and hold investors? Who are your flippers out there? And why are they buying? Why are they flipping? Why are they holding? How are they analyzing their deals? So that's the mindset part of it. You start gathering that mindset of learning, of you're a wholesaler to learn. You're not a wholesaler to make money. So, I mean, we're kind of taking a step back to step number 1, but you're in this to learn the strategies, to learn the tactics, to learn the market. I mean, this is by far the biggest thing that we were talking with him, is that the reason we succeeded so much and why we were able to stay in business and everything is because we took the time to learn the market, learn the strategies, learn the tactics. Because a lot of the area in real estate is education, which means, what I mean by education is you educating your buyers. There's a lot of times that deals, so buyers too, they come with a notion that real estate is 70% minus repairs and you're all making 50 grand on every deal or more, right? And sometimes, again, that's either because of a guru or because some, idiot on Facebook makes it seem that way. And you got to kind of educate them and kind of set their expectations a little more realistic on what the market is. But the only way for you to do that is by understanding the market. So we've worked with investors and everything that's taken us a while educating them, showing them like, hey, I get it, but you're not going to make a killing on every single deal, right? You cannot, and I've used this analogy before, it's like baseball. You cannot expect every time you get at bat to hit a home run. It's just not going to happen. And the problem is that if you keep expecting every time you get at bat to hit a home run, you're not going to make any freaking points. What you got to focus on is hitting a shit ton of singles and doubles. Just keep loading up the bases. You keep loading up the bases, and eventually you keep making more points because you're keeping that consistency going. Does that make sense? So that's the way that you got to look at it. You got to stay consistent. And the only way to stay consistent is by having the right mindset. If you're focused on the money, you're not going to have it, because it's going to be very hard to stay consistent when you're always focused on that dollar. You understand? It's very, very hard to grow a business focused solely on the money because it blinds you from everything else. So going back, step number 2 is volume. If you have the right mindset and you're doing all that, then you realize that you need volume. You need to do more deals in order for you to learn more tactics, in order for you to meet more buyers, more investors. A lot of our private money lenders, so I did a podcast about a week or so ago on how we found our private money lenders. But a great way of finding private money lenders is we find a lot of people that they're like, yeah, I have the money and I want to invest in real estate, and they want to flip houses or whatever it is, but they just don't have the time. You understand? So that's how they actually become money lenders. It requires a lot of time to be able to invest in real estate. This is not a part-time business. This is not something that you can do on the side and take your eyes off of it. You have to be on the business, running the business 24/7. So we realize this, so we will help them out, educate them, start partnering with them, and then eventually they realize that it's much easier lending out the money than having to go through the whole ordeal of losing their money, because every time they try to invest, they lost their money because they weren't keeping an eye on the project. So it requires volume. And in order to do volume, this takes us to step number 3, partnerships. You need to be willing to partner. But this is how it ties back to step number 1 of mindset. If you're only thinking about the money, that you only want to make you want to make the 5 grand, 10 grand, whatever it is, it's going to be nearly impossible for you to be able to grasp and understand the value of partnerships, because you're going to be too damn greedy when it comes time to sharing a deal. And one thing that we were talking about was that you got to switch your mindset to looking at it, because so you want 100% of the deal, right? Because you're focused on the money. The issue is that in order to get 100% of the deal, you got to put in 100% of the work. That means everything from marketing to chasing down the lead, to getting it under contract, to following up with the homeowner, to doing the title work, to getting it sold. Everything, the whole process, you got to do. And then you got to start over again. Now, if you're doing that, it makes it very, very hard to do 5, 6, 7 deals at the same time by yourself. You understand? Because those 5, 6, 7 deals, they're great deals, and you're like, I can do 5 deals. But the problem is that you still got to keep doing everything else. You still got to keep marketing and following up with the other ones. Because these 5, 7 deals that you have on the contract, that's great, but they're already on the contract. You still got to follow them through. And when you find buyers and stuff like that, you got to go show them, walk them through. It takes time. And you cannot stop marketing and cold calling and door knocking and getting more leads because it never ends, right? So the issue you have here is that you're limiting your amount of actual profitability and growth by doing it 100% yourself. If you implement partnerships, and this is something that we did from early on. We believed in this because our goals from day one was always grow and scale. It was always, we wanted to build a business. We wanted to build a real investment company, not be a fly-by wholesaler or a flipper that goes out of business when the market turns. No, we want to be an investment company that grows through the year, stays in business as the market turns, expands into other cities, into other states. You understand? That has been our goal since day one. So we grabbed onto partnerships really, really quick early in the game. And what it allowed us to do is, while yes, partnerships, where a lot of you guys are thinking it sucks, is that you got to split 50% of that, right? So you're like, oh, screw that. You know, it's 15 grand. I'm not giving away half of that to somebody else. I want the 15 grand. But when you look at it the way that we looked at it, it's like, all right, cool. I'll give you 50 grand. Well, if it was a good wholesale, maybe. But I'll split the 15 grand as long as you're doing the other 50% of the work, right? If you do the back end of the work, that means that all I got to do is get it on the contract. I bring it to you. You handle the title, the buyers, showing it, closing it, all of that. I can go get property on the contract, give it to you, go get another property on the contract, give it to you, and I can do more volume this way. So instead of chasing that one deal that's 15 grand, that, you know, I want the whole 15, I can get a lot more deals. And by being able to do step number 2, which is volume, eventually you're going to come across deals that have a $30,000, $40,000 wholesale fee in them. You understand? Because you're doing volume. So now, because you're able to do that much, you can come across those deals more frequently than you would if you were doing it on your own. Because if you're doing it on your own and you're chasing down that deal that's 15 grand just for you and you don't have the time, that other wholesale deal that you could have gotten that was a $40,000 wholesale, you completely missed because you're chasing the 15. So what you got to do is chase the volume, not the dollar amount. If you chase the volume, you are increasing your chances of hitting bigger paychecks. You understand? If you're only doing half the work, what the hell do you care? You can speed it up. You can focus a lot more on what you're really good at. So another thing that we talked about was bringing people on. Like, okay, so I'm splitting them. Cool, great. How do you grow? So the next thing is within the partnership and everything, now you start learning. So maybe you're really, really good at finding leads, which is a really good ability to have in this market. Focus on that. Pass it off to somebody else that can close these leads. That's how we started, and that's how we continue to work with a lot of people. They bring us the leads because we have a very deep buyer pool. And we've educated our buyers. We've taught them how to invest and everything. That we have buyers that pay premium for a lot of properties because their investment strategies are different than most other buyers. So that means we can get more of a wholesale fee. So not only do we handle the back end, but we can also increase the profit because of the buyers we have. So you find yourself somebody like that in your market, whoever you feel that can handle it that way, and you send it off to them and you start learning from them. Like that was the rule that we had with the people that we started, that when I started partnering with people, was like, look, I'll bring you all my leads. I'll bring you all my deals. All the contracts, I'll send them to you. No questions asked. But I want to learn the process. I want you to teach me every step of the process, every strategy, every tactic. Why this way? Why that way? Why didn't this one work? Why did that one work better? How are you finding your buyers? How are you teaching your buyers? I wanted to learn everything. So I made that as one of my requirements, and obviously they agreed because I'm bringing them leads. They don't give a damn. So I started learning the whole process. Then I knew exactly how to do a process from start to finish. But one thing that we started realizing with John is that we are actually really, really good at monetizing deals. We're not the best at generating them. We never were. Where even when we started, we did lead management. That means that somebody else was doing marketing and we were taking the phone calls and taking it down. That we're really, really good at. I'm good at negotiating, good at getting properties under contract, and we're really good at making sure, like, strategizing with the deal. What is the best outcome for this deal? How can we get the most money out of it? How can we make it the best deal for an end investor? What makes the most sense out of the deal? We're really good at that. So we took a step back and we're like, all right, we're only going to handle this part and let somebody else handle the front end. And how you handle the front end is we started buying from wholesalers. And that now we created our own apprenticeship program where we're training people to do exactly that step, right? Learn how to generate the leads and know how to take those steps to continue growing their business. So pretty much you got to work with somebody that can generate the lead, and you split 50% when you end up doing the back end of the work, or whatever the percentage split. Every market is different. For us, we do 50%. If you're a wholesaler, you bring us a contract, we'll handle everything else and we'll split it 50-50 on it. And that's what we're willing to do, because that's the way that we can do volume and also squeeze out the ones that make sense for us to keep. So that's our target, is we want volume. We want growth. So we do more partnerships that way. Eventually, what you want to do is find a partner that has the same mindset as you do. That they're not in it for the money, they're in it for the business and for the growth. And work with them. Say, okay, cool. Maybe you're great at doing the lead acquisition side. You acquire them, I'll sell them. Let's work together, right? So you handle the back end. And then little by little, you start taking those properties and start partnering with flippers. What this is going to do is when you start partnering with flippers is you're going to start learning the flip process. How to renovate them, how to put a scope of work together, how to manage the contractors. And then you start doing multiple of those. Not just one. One flip is not enough. One flip is not going to get you anywhere. You need to do 5, 10 flips for you to really get a handle on how to flip a property. Really get a handle on how to source your materials, how to find the labor, how to manage the labor, how to borrow the money, how to manage the finances. You need multiple deals, because the first couple ones you're going to be struggling and stumbling through just trying to get them done. And then as you do more, as you get better, you start finding ways to improve and systemize the process a lot better, so you can become a lot more profitable, a lot more efficient in flipping houses. And you do it the same way. You partner with somebody that is in that level. So you tell them, hey, I'll bring the deal and you do the flip and we'll partner on these, right? The splits on those are different depending on who you're working with. The way we split it is in threes. So that means that a third for whoever brings the deal, a third for whoever manages the project, and a third for whoever brings the money. Because those are the three major components to every deal. You need the deal, the management of the renovation and the rehab and all of that, and then the money to take it down. So if you bring us just the deal and we're bringing in the other two, you're going to get a third of that deal. But you also get all the learning processes as well. And that's what you need to go after. Stop focusing on the money. Stop thinking of how much money you could have made if you would have taken it down yourself. And the truth is, I guarantee you, it won't be as much as you think. People, they completely overestimate how good they are. And they underestimate how much work it takes to actually renovate a property. And the majority of the time, you end up making a lot less than you thought you were going to make. And it becomes a much more of a headache. And most people don't learn all that much. Because they're just so focused on the end goal that they don't realize all the things they screwed up on. And they'll still come to me and tell me, well, I made money on this. I'm like, okay, you made money, but did you make the amount of money you could have made? That's the real lesson there. Like, it's not just making money, because you can make $100 and say that you made money on a flip. That's not a profitable flip. If the flip was going to generate 30 grand, you should have made 30. You understand? So if you didn't make 30, you screwed up. Yes, you made money, which is great, but you still screwed up, and you got to learn from that. The best way to learn is, again, through partnerships. So now you take it to that next level, right? So you're partnering with flippers. You're learning the flip process. You have somebody now that's doing what you used to do, bringing you deals. And it has to be through a partnership. You cannot hire somebody to bring you deals. You can't hire somebody to do cold calls. I don't care what the hell any of you say out there. You just can't. You're going to have cold calls, people doing cold calls that just, they don't give a damn the way that you're going to give a damn about a deal. The way somebody that actually wants to grow in this business is going to give a damn about a deal. I can be on the phone cold calling, which is why we still do our own cold callings. And I can tell when I have the seller on the hook, or when I'm losing them, when I need to switch my pitch a little bit, when I need to work it up or calm it down. Like, I can tell that on the phone, because I've done so many of these, and because I care that much to close this deal, right? Because it's my deal, it's my profit. So I care to close it. So I want to make sure that if I feel like I have them on the hook, I want to keep going. And the problem is, if you hire somebody, even if you're paying them $20, $30 an hour, whatever the hell you want to pay them, there's still no motivation. They're getting paid hourly. So it needs to be, yes, I think commission works a little better. But beyond commission, I think it has to be somebody that their goal and their ambition is to succeed in real estate, right? It's somebody that says, no, I want to learn everything I can about real estate. I love this industry. Because if that's the case, then now you have somebody that can be just as good as you are in cold calling and talking to people. Now, these people are very hard to find for the reason that we go back to number one, mindset. A lot of them are doing it for the money. So as soon as they learn how to take a deal down, they're like, oh, screw this. I'm not splitting it with you 50%. I'm going to go and do it myself. And then it's a circle all over again. They go out, they start doing it themselves. They'll get a couple wholesale deals and everything, then realize, man, this is just not enough. Yeah, I'm doing the deals and I can close them 100% myself, but I need more deals. I need to do more volume. And then they get into the same circle of, I need to bring somebody on. I need to start partnering. So you're going to be at this point regardless. The difference is going to be, is it going to take you 4 years, 5 years to get to where you want to go? Or is it going to take you 1 or 2 years? If you're starting off and you have the right mindset, you hit yourself to the right company or to the right person, to the right partner, whoever it is. And let's say you become somebody that does the acquisition for us, right? So I'm using us as an example because that's, again, the whole point of the podcast is for me to share what we're doing. So you work for acquisitions for us, right? That you go out there and you generate the contracts and everything, and then you bring it to us. We handle the whole back end, and we're teaching you everything that we're doing, right? Everything from taking it down to flipping the house to getting it as a rental to whatever it is the strategy we're going to implement with this property. That learning curve that we're cutting for you is tremendous, because that is stuff that took us years to learn. Right? A lot of failures, a lot of screw ups, a lot to get to that point. And you're being able to circumvent all that learning by seeing why we do all these things, how we do them, how we look at them. So it makes you a much better investor a lot quicker. And then you can grow to that next level even faster. And then you train that next person to do acquisition. And let's say in our organization, once we have somebody doing acquisitions, and then once we get somebody doing what we're doing right now, which is the actual management of the deals, management of the contracts, management of all that, we take a step back and then we start looking at other cities and other states to start opening up a hub in those areas. And then yourself, you can do that as well. Then once you get somebody for acquisitions, and then you're probably managing the renovations and learning that whole process. Once you learn that, that person moves up, they get somebody for acquisitions, and you move out of managing the projects into expanding into other cities and states, right? So that is the progression that we have seen that works in order to scale and grow a business, in order to scale and grow from a wholesaler. So I hope this all makes sense. And I know there was a lot in there, but it's kind of like a big picture view on how you need to be looking at becoming an investor and how you need to be looking at growing from a wholesaler to an actual investor. A wholesaler is not an investor. A flipper is not an investor. Those are day jobs. You have to bust your ass to do them. Your goal is to be able to get to a point where you're running a business, right? Or you're part of running a business. One thing that we always talk with John is like, we don't have the ego of saying it needs to be my company. Like, we don't care. The only thing that we care about is growing and scaling the business. You understand? The more we can do, if we can do other cities, other states, multiple areas, have projects going on everywhere, everybody becomes more profitable. And the only way you're going to get there is by partnerships, is by doing volumes, is by changing your mindset. So I hope this helps. I hope you guys, this makes a little sense to you guys. And again, if you have any questions, submit them below, comment, let me know, shoot me an email. We're here to help you guys out, and we're here to brainstorm too. I mean, if you have any ideas and stuff like that you want to brainstorm, reach out to us. We love talking to investors. We love getting together and kind of hashing out, seeing what else we can do. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. And again, share this with people. It helps us out tremendously, and it helps a lot of people out as well. So share this with whoever you feel it can help. And I'll greatly appreciate all your support and everything. So thanks for everything that you guys do for us and for all the love and everything. And I'll catch you guys on the next episode.